course, George Costanza's mother on Seinfeld. It means that Liz Sheridan is the only is the only parent left from the Seinfeld cast.
Is that Jerry's mom?
Jerry's mom, yeah. Who, as a younger woman, had a torrid affair with James Dean. Ooh. That was a big deal back in the day. But, because Estelle Harris just died. She was 93. Jerry Stiller, of course, died last year, right? Jerry Stiller died in 2020.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. Barney Martin died a while ago. That was Jerry's dad. He died in 2005. If you go way back, Barney Martin was the second guy to play Morty Seinfeld. In season 1, they had a different actor, an actor named Phil Bruns, play him, and Larry David wanted somebody that was a bit more brash. The guy, I don't know if they even rerun that episode, but there was
It's on Netflix.
Is it?
An
early episode with a different guy playing Morty Seinfeld.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
In season 1. And they got Barney Martin, who had been a New York City detective before he got into acting. So Liz Sheridan, who I think is also in her 90s, is the only parent from Seinfeld that's still alive. Hey, Jacob.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, nothing. I just had a thing about how Poundcake doesn't like lasagna, which is a bunch of meat in between noodles. But does he like a Big Mac, which is 2 meats in between a few buns?
Do you like Big Macs, Poundcake?
Yes.
He does.
All right. That was it.
All right, thank you. There's Jacob.
Well, thanks for playing.
Mm-hmm. I think he was trying to make a clumsy joke there. But I had a Big Mac for the first time in a while. A few weeks back. I hadn't had a Big Mac in a long time.
The texture just isn't the same.
Oh, it was good. It was so good, boy. I was like, I need to wait a long time before I have another one of these.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Because you could see people going, oh, yeah, I'll just have another one of these. And,
I'll just have another one of these.
You know what? Let's do another round.
Oh, God.
It's like a Krabby Patty.
Alan, I'm a full-blooded Italian. I hate Italian restaurants.
I can understand
Tell Bill not to say gravy. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, I love saying that because that.
Hey, stir the gravy. The gravy. I was never. Everybody I went to school with as a kid was either Irish or Italian, and I could never tell if that gravy thing was an affectation or if that was legit. Because
I never heard it till The Sopranos.
I was gonna say I never heard any of my Italian friends' moms call sauce gravy.
Right.
So I heard it in Goodfellas.
Goodfellas
and then in The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner has been added as a contributor to Fox News.
No surprise there.
Really?
Yeah.
They spend their whole time talking about how trans rights are going to ruin the country somehow.
Not
and now they have Caitlyn. Yes. No. Every single opinion show over on Fox News puts them in a bit of a strange
Caitlyn
situation.
Jenner
the way they've been covering a women's college swimming because of Leah Thompson is just insane. Like
they didn't say anything that we didn't say though.
Right, but it's one thing to like bring it up and be like, "Hey, this is a complex situation," but it's like their lead story every day that they're like, "We got to stop this lady from swimming. It's ruining everything." It's like, when did you ever care about swimming before?
They're totally in favor of the Don't Say Gay bill and all this kind of stuff over on Fox News. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, Caitlyn Jenner's awesome. She's a trailblazer."
Well, I mean,
they found the one person of her stripe who's a hardcore Republican. They're like, let's just throw her on the network.
There is another billionaire transgender woman. Like she is like the only one, and she's like in her 70s. But she is like a billionaire. She's an heiress. But yeah, she stays out of the spotlight.
Heiress to what fortune?
I don't know. I just know she is a billionaire. She's old.
Who's the one that made the car that there was like an HBO Max documentary about?
Oh, the Lady in the Dale?
Yeah.
Martine Rothblatt is the woman you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is like the only transgender billionaire.
She was the founder of United Therapeutics. She was the CEO of Sirius Satellite Radio for a while.
Wow, a transgender woman.
She's not 70. Well, I guess she is almost 70, 67 years old. Yeah.
But you think, and she's a part of the Republican Party, you think about things like that. After a certain point, you're removed from all that. Like, you're not going to be politicized. Like, all my friends are rich Republicans.
Well, but also, I'm not saying that Republicans are all anti-trans. I'm saying that Fox News has proven themselves to use trans rights as a wedge issue with consistency.
I think they're fans
on Tucker Carlson and these other shows. So when they go, we got Caitlyn Jenner, that might make for some awkward. Although
Caitlyn Jenner agrees with them.
Well, I was going to say it's become very clear that she has subordinated trans rights to all the other stuff.
I don't. So she is saying things as a trans woman that a lot of people who are heterosexual agree with. She was saying that, there's not enough transgenders yet to have their own league. And she said she doesn't have an issue with Leah Thomas. What she has an issue with is the way that she got in. She was like, Leah Thomas didn't break any rules. She followed the guidelines that was provided, and what she is saying that the league is misinformed on how transgenders work.
I honestly haven't followed the Leah Thompson thing as closely as some other people have. I know some people have some very specific opinions on that. I just don't know enough about it. But
I just don't know how. I wonder how Leah must feel.
Well, it's
after all this coverage, like, because you don't go back to a normal life after that.
It's all this coverage and then all this where they make it seem like this is
Leah
happening.
Thomas, by the way.
Thomas, yeah.
Sorry.
Is happening constantly. And one thing I want to give the governor of Utah, where they had some anti-sports or anti-trans sports bill where he's like, this is 4 students out of 70,000. Can we stop acting like this is something that's happening in every school at every level? Like, this is 4 students that are just trying to spend time with their friends and have a regular high school experience. And it was a very nice letter to just strike down this bill because it's being used.
What's the bill?
It was like a trans sports bill to, like, if you are transgender, you can't participate in sports or something. And it was in Utah, and I believe it was the governor that was just like
Spencer Cox.
Yeah, it's like I don't want these students to commit suicide. Their lives are more important than sports. So if it makes them feel better to play sports and they, if they are transgender, then it'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what.
But it's being weaponized by things like Fox News because it gets people fired up.
It does. It is being weaponized, but I think the reason why it's a talking point every night is because the fans know that it's clickbait. Like,
well, yeah, but
Fox News knows.
But Fox News viewers don't recognize it as clickbait.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They do not.
They think it is what's actually happening because a lot of these Fox News viewers, they don't have kids in high school anymore. They're in their 60s and 70s, and they're watching Fox News, and they're like, oh, man, if I go out and speak with anybody that's in high school, how am I going to know if they're transgender? Like it's not.
I mean, they might have grandchildren.
Yeah,
you would think that they might have conversations with their grandchildren.
Yeah, but they don't have conversations even. They talk at you. I mean, this is something that I've had to deal with in my family. I have a transgender son, and there's people in my family that don't recognize it as, they have very misinformed opinions about it, and it's just all I'm asking them to do is to show them respect and show them some love and not make their existence into this debate all the time about, oh, there's only 2 genders, blah, blah, you can't change who you are. That's never what I'm trying to talk to people about. I'm just trying to say, hey, this is my son.
This is a human person.
This is a human person, and he's got an experience that's different than what we've gone through. So can we just try and make him feel as comfortable? And basically the way he wants to be felt comfortable, felt comfortable, is just to treat him like you treat everybody else. Just be kind to him. Why is that so hard to people? But you go, oh, there's only 2 genders. You can't change your gender. Your sex is your sex, whatever. It's like, well, in my experience, that's how it's been. But in his experience, he felt something different, and we took him to doctors, and now he's living a much more comfortable life for himself.
And even if that is something that you feel, it genuinely doesn't affect your life.
Exactly.
One way or the other. Like,
But
it doesn't affect my life. I feel like it would affect my life if I was treating someone disrespectfully who was having that kind of experience that I have no idea what any of that is like.
And that's what's going on, too, with... I mean, that's the way they present the stuff on Fox News, is where it's like there's this whole agenda. They love using the word agenda to try and indoctrinate your kids, when it's just like, no, we're just trying to accept that some people are different and not try and force them to change and be anything that they're not.
Well, they also have no problem really with indoctrination. That's what all that stuff going on in Florida
listen, I was
is.
indoctrinated as a child. Like that's what religion is. It's indoctrination.
But they also
It's the other way too, though.
What they're finding with this, dealing with this "Don't Say Gay" bill in Florida, which ironically is impossible to not say the word gay if you're talking about the bill, is there are teachers in Florida that are responding by going, "Okay, fine,
I love it.
We're not going to mention anything having to do with sexual preference or gender, so we're not going to refer to parents as Mr. and Mrs. We're not." They're like leveling everything, and then the people who are big fans of this bill are like, well, that's not what we meant. It's like, well, then I guess you shouldn't have made it. We know what you meant, but I guess you shouldn't have made it so legally vague, should you? So teachers are kind of having their own way with, fine, then we'll remove every possible reference because we know what you mean, but here's what we mean.
I think someone used that term where they're saying that as hostile compliance or something like that, where it's like, yeah, we're going to follow the rule, and we're going to follow it so harshly that you're going to be upset with how we're following it.
I enjoy that, really.
That's a great way to protest.
It's nonviolent protest.
Yeah. What is it? What did you say to harshly what?
Hostile compliance.
Hostile compliance.
Yeah.
Hostile compliance. I like that. I'm going to use that.
This is better to see than to hear. But did you see Mel Gibson on Fox News where they asked him about the Will Smith thing? And he was making these weird, if you haven't seen it, you should see. I'll play the audio, but you should see it. Mel Gibson was talking to this guy, Jesse Waters, who has a show over on Fox News. And they did the old, would you have been treated the same way if you had slapped Chris Rock, right? Would it have been different for a white guy than a black guy to be up there? And whether it would be or not, I think most people probably have an opinion on that. But Mel Gibson was making these weird faces, and then you can hear his manager or his publicist cut in.
Time's up.
Time's up. And Mel's like making just like weird faces, but not answering anything.
I was wondering if, you had been the one that jumped up out of his seat and slapped Chris Rock, if you would have been treated the same way, Mel.
Hello, Jesse. Thank you. That's our time.
Have you ever thought about that?
Thank you, Jesse.
Okay.
That is our time.
Well, Mel, thank you very much for joining Jesse Waters Primetime, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I love that. Thank you. Oh, my microphone just started working again. You couldn't hear me the whole time?
Yeah, because he's just kind of like laughing, and he's like wagging his finger. He's like, yeah, you know what? I probably would have been treated different.
That's happened
But
to
here's
me
the thing.
before, where a publicist will come on and be like, "That's our time."
Will Smith, if Mel Gibson's the one that slapped Chris Rock would not have. I feel like Will Smith, or
He wouldn't have stood there slack jawed and
Well, Mel Gibson, I think, is going to slap a lot harder too. Maybe that's
Mel
just because of the
Gibson.
roles I've seen him play over the years.
Oh. You keep your wife's mouth out of my mouth. You keep your wife's name out of my mouth. Give me back my son. Mel Gibson.
Give me back my son. Oh,
He's got a movie coming out,
Ransom's a great movie.
but you can't stream it anywhere.
I know. Why is that? That's a
I don't
weird
know.
one. That's like literally you have to rent it on DVD. Or
Yeah,
something.
you do.
Like,
I've
I don't
probably
think-
got it on hard copy somewhere. But Mel Gibson's got a movie coming out with Mark Wahlberg about like a
Oh, they like working
priest
together.
who turned a priest who's from the streets who turned around some kids or something.
Street priest.
Street priest.
Well, he played his dad in Daddy's Home too,
Oh God,
right?
forgot about that. Yeah, they were talking.
never
and
saw those.
a bunch of people are sending me the link to this story. I did see the headline. I didn't really read the whole story, but they did some experiment where they took regular Fox News viewers And this group paid them to watch CNN for 30 days to see if their opinions changed on anything. And most of the people, their opinions changed quite a bit. They wanted to see if genuinely people could be persuaded by viewing another channel that gave another point of view. People that were consuming a steady diet of Fox News, if they watched something else for a month, would their opinions change? And for most of those people, it did. It didn't change to a person, and it didn't change from night to day.
But it changed.
But it changed,
It's going to
yeah.
change the way things are being presented. And also, when you get away from those opinion shows on Fox News where they know exactly what they're doing, like Tucker Carlson knows what he's doing by saying, oh, I'm just asking questions. But he's using his platform to make people scared.
But those are also opinion shows.
Right,
They're
but
not
people-
news shows.
but
I mean,
people don't think
they're on
of
a
them
channel
as-
that has news in the name,
Right.
but they are opinion shows.
Right, but people don't think of them as opinion shows.
Well, they should. That's
I
that's
agree.
what that's what they
I
are.
just think people
the
shouldn't
news
be-
is on in the daytime.
I think you shouldn't watch cable news. Like, I think that's just like cable news. There's better ways to get news in this day and age. I think reading the news is easier, and you know it's good to be informed. But there's places you can go to get very unbiased information about the news.
I read my news at the bottom of the crawl on the TV. That's how I get my news.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that headline. Rich is in Jacksonville, Florida. What's up, Rich? Hey, Rich. Oh,
Maybe-
Rich hung up.
Hopefully
Okay.
he didn't die.
No, that's all right.
What did Rich want?
Something about transgender athletes. I don't know.
Do you know what he was going to say, Poundcake?
Not to the T, but he was pretty much saying that there was a transgender athlete that wasn't able to compete in a triathlon. So, they're already making laws and putting bans in place where making transgenders can't like perform.
And again, it's one of those things. It is a tricky subject, but I think in a lot of cases, these are just kids that want to
I understand that.
have fun.
I agree, but
And
I will
also,
say
high school records. Who cares?
everything has its time. It's just like if you flip a switch, not everything is going to change overnight, nor should you want it.
No one's expecting things to change overnight.
Well,
mean,
I do-
progress is glacial. It just crawls, but it does crawl along. You can't turn back the clock.
I understand that, but there is a such thing as things going too fast where people can't keep up, and I think that's honestly what's happening, and people are starting to. It's not necessarily
Again,
that they're
I-
angry at that transgenders.
I think it's that they're being told that things are moving too fast.
No, it's moving fast.
The example Bill just gave of Spencer Cox, who is the Republican governor of Utah, who refused to sign an anti-trans bill because he goes, we're talking about a handful of kids in a state full of tens of thousands of kids.
I understand that.
That's the truth. That's the percentage. It's an extraordinarily small percentage for states. Ohio wants to do it too. Ohio's announcing their own "Don't Say Gay" bill or a
Right.
version thereof or whatever. For states to be devoting that amount of time and legislative resources to something so widespread, for something that applies to such a small group of people. Again,
I agree.
You can't fight progress. This notion that everything's happening so fast. Nothing happens fast. Nothing. Nothing judicial, nothing legislative, nothing executive, nothing societal moves fast.
I sent you a video of Mark Norman talking about Leah Thomas, and started at the 16-second mark because he says a little S word right before that.
Well, I'm just saying, I think people move past. They got used to the whole gay thing. Gay is not a taboo
there's
in society anymore.
But
that took
just
a
as you
long
say that,
time.
As you say that, in Tennessee, they're trying to have distinctions in marriage where if you are in a heterosexual marriage, you have more rights than if you're in a gay marriage, to the point where they're this is kind of a sneaky, weird thing where they're trying to say that if you
Minimize your marriage.
No, they're trying to say, like, if you're a male marrying a woman, there's no age restriction, which is a weird thing to do.
And by the way, these people who want to, spread these "don't say gay" bills and blah blah blah, they're not going to stop with that. They're not trying to halt progress. They want to roll a lot of it back.
Yeah.
You watch. They're going to take aim, like Bill's talking about Tennessee. They're going to take aim at same-sex marriage. They're going to take aim at anti-discrimination laws in general. They're going to take aim at pride events.
Who was the dude that during the Supreme Court Justice hearing was saying he wishes that interracial marriages was a state's
That's
right
a senator
issue.
from Indiana.
Yeah.
Is Mike Braun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people are really up in arms about it. It's got to be how white people felt in the '40s when black people started playing sports. Like what the hell? This isn't fair at all. They should have their own leagues. We'll never win again. Come on, this ruins everything.
It's a good take.
It was a great take.
He's coming to the Agora, right? Marty
Yeah.
Norman? We gave away some tickets.
June, I believe.
There you go. All right, I'm going to break. I'll have, speaking of tickets, Mastodon and Opeth are coming to the aforementioned Agora 2 weeks from Saturday, 23rd. So if you want to go to that show, a couple of tickets for you waiting on the other side of this break. 35192 if you want to text for something else.
This is the Alan Cox Show. Every